Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to Fate 40 and Beyond, the podcast for women at midlife who just want to talk about things like, I don't know, stuff that people don't talk about in normal day, everyday stuff, but we get real. Aside from the podcast, I am the owner of Soulful Existence. I meet with clients one-on-one through tarot card readings, mediumship, and past life regressions. And more recently, I have launched an astrology app called The Cosmic Brief. You can check that out in the show notes. Today we have a guest, and this has been a long time coming, and I'm really excited about this episode. I think it's going to be amazing. So this person in particular, I have not met in person, but we have met online. And I think we have a lot in common, so I'm excited to see how the conversation goes. But Michelle is with us today. Michelle, do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Michelle Angone, and I work with The Edge of Perception. I'm a writer and an author. And what we do is we take our priestessing through teaching other people how to write so that they can get their stories out into the world. And I also do tarot readings. I do workshops. I'm going to be at Mystic South this year. I'm going to be in Springfield this year. And I'm basically all over the place. So you can connect with me on Facebook or through.
Yeah, and we'll put your information for your socials and all that
Okay.
in the show notes too, because I like, I mean, I don't have a huge platform yet, but I like people to be able to find the guests that I have on here because I know like a lot of the really cool people that I follow online, I've found from podcasts, so I think it's important to make sure everyone knows where to find you. I'm really bummed I'm not going to be at Mystic South this year. Like, I'm so disappointed because that's the one week my husband picked to go out of town.
Girl, if you were gonna be there, I would put you to work. I would be like, "I need help at my ritual. Come in here and help me."
And I would do that so gladly. I went the very first year and it was unbelievable. Like, I was still pretty new to being outwardly spiritual, if that makes sense. Like, I guess I'd come out of the broom closet at that point. And I remember posting about it on Facebook, but like making a special list of people that could see my post because not everyone knew I was witchy. Now I'm obviously much more open about it. And it would just be really awesome to go and enjoy like other people who have the same mindset about stuff. I think it's just so important. So that's awesome. You're going to have such a good time.
This year's gonna be a little bit different from me because I normally vend, and my group isn't coming down. I belong to the collective, right? They're not coming. It's just me. So I get to attend all the classes I want to. It's gonna be fabulous.
Well, I was going to ask, like, have you presented before?
I have this is my 5th year.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, see, I have imposter syndrome anyways when it comes to everything. I don't know that I could get up and teach like that for me or present even. Like I love to speak publicly, but I don't know that I would feel like I have anything to
I
say.
promise you, once you go and you sit in on a couple of other workshops, you'll be like, "I got this. I can do this."
We had that conversation already. You and I. We've already discussed that. Yeah, so if anyone, I'll actually include information about Mystic Self as well. It takes place in Atlanta, which I think is so super fortunate for us because I wouldn't be able to go at all if it took place anywhere else. But it's just a really cool little, I don't know, would you call it a convention?
It is a
Or
convention.
I guess it's a convention.
It's a
Like
crazy
that's the
wild
right word for it.
convention.
Yeah. It's just so much fun. And I know, like, so the recovery version, or the witchy version of like AA 12-step programs is recovery. No, Pagans in Recovery.
Uh-huh.
Jeez. And they have meetings at Mystic South. So that's really awesome because, sometimes it can get a little overwhelming to be in such a big group of people, but they have, they meet, which is really, really neat. All right, let me do one more shuffle. I I always get so intimidated when I do readings for someone else who knows what they're doing. But on every episode, I like to kind of put a disclaimer out there. I read very intuitively. So most of the most of the meanings of the cards are not the traditional meaning.
Oh, I don't
They
use
come
them
out.
either.
Yeah, it's like I could. I don't even think I know all of the traditional meanings, but I put them down and all of a sudden get like words, images, emotions, and so I usually will go off of that. There's a few cards that are like they'll usually scream at me to use the more traditional meaning.
What's your go-to deck?
So this deck is called the Santa Muerta deck.
Ooh.
I don't know. That's very
Ooh.
yeah. So find see that's one of my favorite cards,
Ooh, the lovers? Is that
but
lovers?
they're really yeah. That was lovers. Oh no wait did I no that was Two of Cups,
Oh, wow. Those are
and then
beautiful.
the Hanged Man. They really are like this is the world card.
Oh, that's what I need,
Oops,
another tarot
it's
deck. Yes, let
hard.
me sign right up.
I have 2 shelves of on my little shelf over here of decks, and I'm like, I used, like, the same 5 decks out of my 20
Oh,
over and
yeah,
over and
I've
over.
got a stack of
Um
them, and my go-to is the Thoth deck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
always
it's Yep. Yep. Let's see, right off the bat, there's the King of Swords, the 3 of Swords, Queen of Wands, 10 of Swords, and is that yeah, 5 of Cups. Interesting.
oh,
Huh?
stabby. I said,
Yeah,
"Sounds
well,
stabby."
savvy. For me, it comes up more as like this, like, how do I explain this one? Perspective shift that was fought hard, like pushed back on a lot. Have you been going through something that like you did not want to see it a certain way, and now that you're kind of in the middle of it, maybe okay, fine. It's almost like making a concession of like, ugh, I didn't want to believe this about the situation, but here we are. It kind of makes sense now. But there also feels like there's some emotional relief there too. Like pushing back on something. What sign are you? Pisces. Interesting. Because it
Pisces.
almost feels like digging my feet in, like digging my heels in. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then as soon as there's this shift in mindset, it's like this emotional release valve just opens and it's like, okay, fine. It worked out better than I expected. It was very Taurus energy. But does that make sense for you right now?
It really does. I have so many things going on. Like, my mom just passed away in the past month, but other than that's that's a whole other can of worms I don't wanna, like, really get too much into, but so many other things going on at the same time because when you go through a loss like that, you got everything gets on pause and then it opens back up and you
Yeah.
reexamine everything, and plus I just realized I'm now the old generation,
Mm,
so
okay.
there's that.
Yeah. No, I could see that. We are becoming, yeah, the people that the younger generations turn to. And I still feel like I'm 20 years old sometimes. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. My kids ask me, right?
Sign me up for
My kids
16.
ask me,
Yeah.
they're like, does it get better as you get older? Do you feel like you know what you're doing? And I'm like, no, we just fake it better. That's all it comes down to.
Or we stop faking it. I
Yeah.
feel like because 'cause I'm 53 now, that you get to a certain age and you're like, "I'm done faking it. This is who I
Sure. Oh,
am, and
100%.
like it
And
or
I,
don't like it, I don't
like
care."
showing up with wet hair today, that would not have happened 20 years ago. I don't care now. Like that's not that's not going to make or break this episode. It's not going to, derail my entire projects, all the stuff that I'm doing. I yesterday went to that cacao ceremony that I was telling you about, and my intention was to I guess not so much show up more authentically, but lose the shame of showing up in general. And it's so funny because I do things that most people would assume, like, oh, I don't have a problem showing up. Like, I'm do the content creation, I do the podcast, all this stuff, but it's very curated. And I make sure that there's a little control box and it fits perfect in there. But then to not care anymore, like you said, like to get to a certain point where you're like, I'm not faking it anymore. I thought I was at that point, but I'm really getting to that point now. It just happens.
I promise you it gets better.
Well, and I mean,
But I'm the same way though. If I walk into that new experience, you walk through the door and you're like, "Well, what are we doing in here? I've never
yeah,
done this
yeah,
before." And I mean, I've been doing this stuff since high school, and there's still stuff I walk into and I'm like, "Huh, interesting. I'm gonna sit here and be quiet and just watch
that's
what goes
interesting. So
down and
you've been more into the
see what
witchy stuff
happens."
since high school. I was mid 30s, late 30s when I finally allowed myself to get into it. Astrology was always my first love. I remember being young, young high school age and learning about my sun sign and oh my gosh, I feel so seen and just and little did I know how much more there was to learn about it. But even that was wrong growing up for me. Like it was not allowed. It was totally against everything that my birth faith, my birth religion was teaching. And so there were many years where I pushed it down and then got married, had kids, again, focused on very traditional Christian upbringing and family dynamics, and then went through a divorce. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I get to do whatever I want now. and it was like the floodgates just opened, and I have not been able to hide anything, put it all back. I can't do that. Like, it just doesn't happen. So now I'm like, well, I just might as well embrace it.
I don't know, once you
You
step
can't go
out of
back.
that closet,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
over.
So it's been interesting.
What
Catholic,
what
and
religion
then
did
once
you
I
grow
had
up?
kids, it was more of like non-denominational Christian, which is hilarious to me. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but
Ah,
that was,
Catholic
my
school?
my parents are very ingrained in the Catholic Church. Like my dad's a deacon, like that was it. So, yeah, it's just
Oh.
very different upbringing. And I remember, like I'd read the horoscope in the newspaper because newspapers were still very much a thing. And, we'd kind of laugh about it but it couldn't go much further than that. It was just not like it wasn't a valid belief system. And now I'm like, it's literally my entire life while I've been developing this app. It was crazy.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, I look at my Catholic school upbringing as being that push that they set it up. They did. I went to St. Mary's school, right? So big statues. We're doing the rosary under it. We're what we do? We crown the May
Yeah,
Queen. I mean,
I
come
know.
on. Like, oh, why are you witchy? Well,
Well, and that's the thing that's
it
been
was
really
everywhere.
interesting to me is how much crossover there is. And I have at times missed the very rigid, like traditional meanings or ceremonial type feel of the church. And so I've gone back once or twice over the years and I'm like, no, it's all the other stuff I don't like. Like it's all of the why do I have to pray to a saint if I want to talk to my higher power? Like that doesn't make sense to me. And I've said stuff like this over other episodes, but it's it to me now I see that like religion, the man-made construct of religion tries to separate us from whatever our source power is. And that's
Hmm.
I've
Oh
even
yeah.
gone through my own process for like AA and the 12 steps of reclaiming my own power and applying it to that because that like whole mindset is I'm worthless when it comes to having control over anything. And I don't want to give that up. And it's not that I don't want to give it up because I need to have control. It's because I fought for so long to get my personal power back. It's been an interesting like progression of thought process. Maybe these cards are meant for me, not you. Yeah. But it's been interesting because yeah, it's very much been a whole shift in my thought process. I don't know, but I think it's so fascinating talking to people who have been more spiritually minded from a younger point in life. Like, to me, that was just like so foreign back then. What initially opened the doors for you with that?
I grew up it's so funny because when I met
Yeah.
you, I started that group, the Woo Ladies, and you were like, "Hey, I'll help, moderate," and I was like, "Cool, you're in because I don't know what the hell I'm doing." Right? But I saw your name, Rodriguez, and that is my cousin's family is Rodriguez, so I'm just like, "Oh, your family, no biggie." So I
That's
can
too
trust
funny.
you. Not like it's not the
Right.
most common last name ever, right? So, I grew up in this very Mexican neighborhood, and I felt like everybody was witchy. Like, you go over to everybody's house, and there's saints on
Yeah.
altars with little, they wouldn't call 'em offerings, but
Right.
they're friggin' offerings. So, I just grew up seeing it, and my house wasn't really that way, but when everybody around you is that
Yeah.
way, then that's what you do. It's it's just who you become, and I remember being in high school, and I was a bad girl in high school, in Catholic school, and I had this big book of astrology, and my husband and I went to school together. We've been friends since, like, junior high, and I remember pulling it out on the lunch table, and it was like, "Oh, Pisces and Scorpio, that's the match." We were dating other people.
That's too funny.
So it's all of that, and, like, I would see things at mass, and I would be like, "Oh, I'm reading about this in this book, and
Yeah.
this is what they're actually doing, and this is what this means." So I was like this spirituality nerd slash bad girl.
My high school had a requirement that you had to take a religion class every year. And one year was world religions. And I loved it, but it was very much from a theology point of view. Like, not so much the spirituality, but like what are the mechanics of each religion? What do they believe? What's different for each one? And I I probably could have gone into a career studying theology because I thought it was so interesting. And now instead, I've kind of, veered off into my own thing and have still made somewhat of a career out of it. It's just crazy. The desire was there and that manifested a different way for me. But I love that for you
Right.
it wasn't like taboo. It was just out there. It was just what people did, and I think that's awesome.
Also, for me, I don't look at anything like it's taboo. So it wouldn't have mattered if the rules were so strict that they would have
Yeah.
been beating me with a ruler. It would you couldn't have
Yeah.
beat it out of me, right? It's like, "Oh, but we're praying to this statue and we're going over to St. Mary's Church, that's her house, not his house." And it's just
I
the way
love
I
how
looked at it.
our different perspectives, probably very similar experiences, but we had totally different points of view on that stuff. I think that's fascinating. I think that's so awesome. And I mean, now I can see it that way because it's like I've taken away this filter of men tell us to behave this way. It's more of a raw
Right.
understanding of the like traditional religion. Growing up, generationally, my grandmother was more outward with her devotion to saints, I guess. Growing up in my house, we didn't have any type of statues, or we had maybe like a cross over the doorways or whatever. But my grandma's house, I remember she had this one, and it was meant to be a planter in her entryway. but it was like brick and then had a bunch of pebbles inside, and she had candles in there. And I'm sure she had statues of different saints. I don't recall exactly. Maybe like Mother Mary. And we would go and she would light the candles. And it was just, to me, it was really pretty because she had plants in there and the candles and the statues. I thought it was really cool. I was like 2 years ago, I remember thinking, oh, that's what that was. Like now I have an altar in my house and I do the same thing. And I realize it's very, very similar. My great grandmother, her mom, maybe not to the same degree, but every every Christmas, the whole family would go over and we would stand in a circle Christmas Eve, and she would bring out baby Jesus, a little baby Jesus doll for the manger, and we'd all have to give him a kiss, and then she'd put it in the manger scene. And I'm like, how is that any different than what I do now? The reverence for right, like the reverence
It's not.
for those for me now they're archetypes of whatever they embody, but it was just that outward expression. To me that means, if I had grown up, I think, with more immediate um influence of that, not so much just at like grandma's house or great grandma's house, I think it would have been easier for me to like make that transition into witchiness a little earlier.
I think it comes when it's
Yeah,
supposed to come. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't in the place to be there before, and then once you walked out that door, you were like, "And
yeah.
here I am, and here's everything." And if it had happened before, could you have done it? Would it you have looked at it the same way?
You're right, and you're so right, because there was another memory that popped up just the other day of when I was in my early 20s, and I remember distinctly there were like late night bar discussions, so it wasn't anything, everyone thinks they're super philosophical after a couple of drinks. And I remember someone telling me they were a big fan of like Sylvia Brown. And I was like, I don't know what is that? Like, what are you talking about? And they were trying to explain the concepts to me. And I was like, that sounds a little weird. So in my 20s, I still wasn't ready for it. You're right. And it took another 10, 15 years for me to like really kind of be open to that stuff.
And now you do mediumship.
And I know
See how that comes full circle?
it is. I mean, but and even so, like I remember being a young child and just sensing things and immediately shutting it down because I was like, I don't want to see anything scary. I don't want to know. I don't want to talk to anything. And then in the like in high school years, I remember reading, it was a very Christian based, Catholic based book about good and evil spirits and how they manifested in the world. Like basically people were sharing stories about their own experiences with spirits. And that fascinated me. But I always remember thinking, like, I don't ever want to see anything. I don't want to talk to anything. I knew it existed, but I didn't want to participate. And now I still don't want to see anything, but they talk to me. They're there all the time.
And sometimes they don't shut the hell up,
Right.
right? It's like,
Exactly.
"Stop talking."
It's so funny. So at night we closed the house. My husband and I, once we were both in bed, had this whole little like paragraph I say, it's memorized now. Basically, like the house is closed, all portals are sealed, no spirits can linger, no spirits can talk to us or contact us by any means. And then I say, I'm closed for business. He is a Pisces, so he's probably more intuitive than I am, more of an open channel than I am. He says he's closed for business. And then I say that the dog is closed for business because if we don't do that, she's up all night pacing. My husband can hear stuff in the hallway. I have bad dreams because I'm a Cancer moon. So everything comes to me in dreams sometimes. Or, we'll both just wake up in the middle of the night and go like, what the hell's in the house? It happened for months and months and months. And so now I close the house every night. If I don't do that, like neither of us sleeps well. But the other night I was laying in bed dozing off before I closed the house, and I had this, like, sensation of something swooping down close to me, and then kinda like, "Hey, I'm here." And I was like, "Nope, nope, nope. I need sleep." It's not that, like, I get scared. It's more so just like, "I need sleep. Let me sleep. Don't ruin my sleep." So now we close the house every night because yeah, I just can't not.
So I'm just like sitting here going, you can just tell them to leave you alone at night and they'll leave you alone. Like, of all the things that I have
Yeah,
tried ever, like to get
yeah,
them to just leave me alone, I've never said, just leave me
yeah.
alone, let
It
me
was taught to me
sleep.
pretty early of like, "I'm
Huh.
closed for business. I'm closed for business." Like, "You can't I'm not available right
Huh.
now." And I've had someone even say they needed like a open close sign on their door. Like they had an office where they did readings and they had no one ever saw the sign, but it was like, "Nope, I'm closed." Yeah, so try it. Tell me how it goes.
I definitely
Yep,
will. Because I know, like, the month my mom got really bad sick in July and had a surgery. We didn't think she was gonna make it through, and then she passed away in April. When I tell you they all were talking to me, I was telling my friends, I'm like, "These dead people won't leave me
yeah,
the hell alone." Literally, every night, all night, any quiet time I tried to get throughout the day, just
mhm.
yapping, I could hear. It's like, "She's alive, leave me
Yeah,
alone." And then when she was dying, they were not there. I was just like, "Okay, you this is the time to talk. Everybody preparing a party or something. They're gone, and I'm here with just my sister trying to figure out, yeah, she's gonna cross
yeah.
over now," Like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was crazy.
Do you just have one sister?
Yeah, and she's 11 years younger than me, so it's a very, like,
Is she also with you?
in it kinda runs in our family,
Yeah.
so she is in her own way, but not like me.
I'm just curious because, like, I know my siblings are not at all of the same mindset. Like, I'm definitely the black sheep. And like, I have such a weird relationship with death. To me, it's like if someone walks from this room to the next room, they're not gone. They're just not in the same room with me anymore. And it's hard for me to I mean, like, I get sad. My grandpa's it's been 6 years now, almost 6 years since he passed, and he was probably the most significant loss that I've had. But, like, I still hear his voice. I still talk to him. I probably talk to him more now than I did when he was alive because I don't have to use a phone. You know? It's like he isn't gone. And so it's hard for me to, I guess, grieve because I don't have a whole lot to grieve about when I'm still communicating. And so I just wonder, like, how that's gonna be for my siblings and I when that day does come and our parents pass. And I'm like, "Yeah, they're fine. They're good." But it was interesting when you mentioned your sister, just kinda knowing it was gonna happen. That's what made me go down that path.
Yeah, because like, we were we were kinda, like, co-raised by our grandparents. My mom always lived with my grandparents. So, first we lost my grandpa 15 years ago. The whole family's in the room when he goes, right? It just got cold. We knew it was gonna happen. My sister and I huddled under a blanket. It was a good time when he left, to be honest. And then when my grandma went just 2 years ago, it was I mean, she was
Right.
92. She was 92. She's ready to go. She's been ready to go. When my mom had her surgery, I remember her saying to me, she was like, I don't know if I wanna die." And my mom, she's always been really she
Yeah.
would call it a gift. My mom had a gift. So she was always very spiritual in her way, but I freaked her out for some reason. Anyway, she was like, what if I don't make it through the surgery?" And I was so thrown back by that. I was like, "Oh, you of all people, why does it matter?" And I was like, "So you either wake up and my sister and I'll be here, or you wake up and you're with your
Yeah.
mom and dad. I don't know what the problem is." And she just looked at me
That's
like,
funny.
"What?" Like, "You're gonna
Yeah.
wake up one place or the
Yeah.
other."
See, what and even looking back in high school, one of my favorite movies, I've watched this movie probably 100 times, Defending Your Life. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's from the 90s.
I
Yeah.
love that movie.
I
I
will wa
love
it's like my
it.
comfort movie. I love it. There's a scene in there that I feel like perfectly describes what happens in the afterlife. Journey of Souls is one of my favorite books. Lives Between Lives type of explanations and stories, and I think that's why I do past life regression. Like, I wanna know what was my experience before I got here. And Defending Your Life, like, I remember watching that in high school. Like, we we'd go every Friday to Blockbuster and pick out a movie, and we'd get popcorn and sit down, and my parents were like, "You've
Oh,
seen that
yeah.
before. You've seen it 5 times already. Like, why do you need this movie again?" Like, my soul already knew that we don't just die, we don't just end, and it was like I was craving that
Mhm.
to hear it from someone else, I guess. But, yeah, you just wake up here, you wake up there, it's one or the other. Like,
And it's not a bad thing.
no, no, and I think that's probably one of the biggest differences between the religion I grew up with and my spiritual perspective now. Like, there's no hell. If For me now, sometimes this realm feels like it,
Absolutely. This is hell.
but I'm not
This right
gonna go
here.
to it, right? But I think it's more of like the separation of self that causes that feeling for it to be unbearable sometimes. Because when I'm in alignment, it doesn't feel like that. And I feel like I'm truly living as a soul here. But when I'm not in alignment, that's when it feels like yeah, it's just like pushing against the grain and not getting anywhere in life.
Yeah. I had this belief, I don't even know where I picked it up along the way, that we choose our parents before we're born.
Uh-huh.
And I've mixed
Yeah.
that into the we choose the experience we wanna have.
Uh-huh.
So, here's the experience. So, it took me a long time to look at my relationship with my parents. My mom was 16 when she had me, right?
Yep.
So, it was like, "Ooh, but I chose this. I chose
Yeah.
for whatever reason, this was my choice." Had I wish I had had that knowledge when I was a kid growing up through it. Like, but this was my choice to
Right.
do this, right?
Yeah.
And, but I also have this thing that we're all chained together, so you got these soul chains going out, and so I've always had my husband,
Oh,
I've
I like
always
that.
had my kids. Yeah, so we just keep doing it in different experiences, and we're always together, just in different ways, going through different
Have you ever
trials.
read Journey of Souls?
No,
You
but
probably
I'm
should.
going to.
Yeah, because it's everything you just said, but in different words. I prefer the audiobook, which I think there's also an audiobook version on YouTube. So you could look it up there if you like to listen.
Well, I love
But
that.
essentially, it's yeah, we have soul groups, and one of the things that got me through my divorce after the fact, like a few years after the fact, was understanding it from that perspective of I needed to learn this. My ex-husband in soul form decided, "Hey, I'm going to help you out with that. We're going to meet up in life. I'm going to piss you off, but it's going to be for a reason." you know, it took away a lot of that anger towards him and a lot of that like hatred towards him. I can appreciate it for what it is. And granted, there might be only a few thousand people on this planet who get that
Right.
and don't understand why I don't I don't wish him the worst. Like I hope he has a great life. It just his part in my life played out exactly the way it was supposed to. And honestly, I probably wouldn't be on the path I am now, spiritually, career-wise, none of that if we had stayed together. So yeah, there was a reason for that. And I don't know about lesson, but like that whole experience was supposed to just catapult me to where I am now.
Oh, yeah.
So
I love that.
I get it.
And then I'm going through this, I'm getting a degree in metaphysics,
Oh, nice.
right? And so in metaphysics, they teach you the whole God is within and you have that spirit. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Gnosticism. So to me, it's like, okay, so I am living the experience that God needs to have to experience through me to
Mm.
take back to source. And it gets all sorts of jumbled and it makes perfect sense in my head. But to have me explain it and be like, okay, so you're God, but you're not God. You're a part of God, but you're not.
Right.
And there's this Christ
Yeah. Yeah.
consciousness because it wasn't ever about Jesus the man. It was about the spirituality within. And his wife was really cool. And that's when I
Yep.
usually throw people off.
Oh, yeah. 100%. When I find people who subscribe to the idea that Mary Magdalene was his wife, I'm like, "Oh, well, I
Yeah,
know
I
you're
wrote a
cool. You're part of the
paper
inbreeding."
last
Yeah.
year for Mystic South about Mary Magdalene, and I
Yeah.
try this, presenting to a room full of pagan, witchy people, a paper on Mary Magdalene and trying not to talk about Jesus at all, and it's just like, "I'm gonna take the challenge. I'm gonna do this."
Awesome. I wish you have recorded that. Did you? Because that would be really cool to watch.
No, but I have it and you can read it.
I would
I'd be
love to.
happy
So
to share it with
I
you.
think it's a book called The Magdalene Manuscripts. Have you heard of that
Mhm.
one?
Yep.
I Yeah, so I have that. I've done a lot of research on my own. There's getting into even like the high priestess type of archetype and tracing it back to the whole I don't even like it sounds crazy when I talk about it, like the Knights of the Round Table and King Arthur and going through that whole thread and then Isis and like being able to trace it. And I throughout the years have found myself just learning about each of those kind of like s- periods in the timeline. And I'm like, wow, that's not coincidence for sure. That's something that I was meant to find and explore and learn on my own. And then every now and then it's like I don't want to say get sidetracked, but I learn about it and I go learn about other stuff and then I come back somehow and I have to learn like I learn more about it and I get deeper into it. And it's been I don't know, it's been interesting for sure.
That's how I spent my 20s was I was going to trace religion all the way back, but not through God, but through the goddess to see where that
Yeah.
mother goddess comes in. And I remember doing it for so so long, just kept going backwards and backwards and backwards. And a friend of mine, we hadn't talked for a while, and she was like, "So are you still into all that God stuff?" And I was taken aback. I was like, "I'm not religious like that. That's not my thing." She's like, "No, but you were studying." And I was like, "Oh yeah. Um, yeah, I'm still into it." She's like, "Well, did you ever trace religion all the way back?" And I went, I did as far as I could go." And she's, "Well, what'd you come up with?" And I said, "Aliens. That's the best I could come up with." And she's like, "Oh, okay. You go do
That's
you."
yeah. I am but truly like there I don't know that there's another logical explanation. To me, that's the most logical explanation there could be.
And that's when people are like, "Who are these ladies we're listening to right now?"
I know. But see, I also have found over the years, if I edit myself too much, then I find myself surrounded by people that I don't have anything in common with. If I
Absolutely.
speak my mind and share my crazy ideas, it's like I'm a beacon and people just find me and they like all of a sudden there's this I don't like I can speak more freely because the people I've collected along the years get it. And I mean, like, I was actually just thinking, like, we're getting really weird on this episode, and I love it because maybe it's like time to take it up a notch and like really, really get out there and find some. But like, I'm good with it. I think it's great because it's such real conversation.
I feel a lot of times like in the magical communities, right? They're like, "Oh, I'm this to this degree, or I'm this, and this is, I belong to this grove or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, well, have you ever heard of this or this or this or this?" Because I own all the books, right?
Yeah.
If it's out there, I've
Yeah.
read it, and it doesn't matter if it's conspiracy theory or if it's some obscure religion that was out there for 2 years in the early 1900s. I'm gonna know a little bit, and mostly, I feel like I do this, like, if you wanna talk flat Earth with the dome and the hollow, I can talk to you and meet you where you're at,
Right.
and I feel like when you're doing cards
Right.
for people or whatever, my first question is, "Well, what religion are you? What do you believe?" And it's so I know how to talk to them, right? It's like, "Okay,
Right.
this is where you're at, and I
Right.
can talk to you on your level."
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's so funny you talk about like the flat earth stuff, and I feel like that's the tip of the iceberg. Like that's the introductory version of like you're about to get out there. Because
Have
yeah,
you seen that
I've
thing on the internet and it's like, here's flat earth and here's all the other stuff that's like
yeah.
all around it.
Yeah. And that's how I mean, to the point where we have giants living in the middle of the earth, like I believe it. Why not? To me, it makes sense. Like, it, it's so funny because people look at me like I'm crazy all the time. I'm like, who's
Prove they're
crazy, me
not
or
there. That's
you?
all I gotta say. Prove they're not
Right.
there. You don't have to convince me it's there. You convince me it's not there, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some people sometimes at work where I'm like, God, I wish I could be just as naive as them. I wish I could just like not care as much. That would be really nice, but I that's not me. I was one of the best compliments I've gotten from anyone, and I don't even know if it was meant to be a compliment, was the vast array of topics in your brain is, and then like they paused, intense. And I went, thanks. Like, I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like,
You need a
I,
t-shirt. My brain is intense.
oh my God. I don't want to stay stagnant in my thought processes, whether that means like really challenging myself and learning about things that don't make any sense. Like, I, give me all the conspiracy theories. If it somehow opens my brain a little bit more to be, yeah, like even borderline considering some really outrageous stuff, like I love that.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I was in Arizona last year. We went to Sedona, right? And I wanted to have this great spiritual experience because everybody has these great spiritual experiences in Sedona,
Yeah,
except
I've heard.
me. Except me. We went hiking. It's 100 degrees. We don't have any water. And my husband is like, "Do you want to turn around?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course I want to turn around because I don't feel shit out here. Let's just go back." We go on this tour
Yeah.
later in a Jeep. It's bumpy. And at first, it's really boring, right? The tour guide's going on. And suddenly he's talking about Skinwalker Ranch. And I was like, my people. So I start pointing to the mountains and telling him, well, that's
Yeah.
a really a melted building from, and you can see the columns
Yeah.
and you can see the spires and everything. And as we were driving, he's talking about skinwalkers and I am talking about these melted buildings. And he was like, we need to do a tour together.
See, I remember being a kid and seeing the mountains, like the foothills in California, and just thinking, there has to be dead dinosaurs under that. Like, it sounds so crazy, but like the way that they lay and then the little valleys that come down, I was like, those are the legs. You can see the head go, like I don't, that makes no sense whatsoever biologically because they would be decomposed by now. But in my head, it made so much sense at the time.
Like I said, you have to prove something isn't to me. You can't the giant
I love
tree
that.
things they have? They're like, "That's not a mountain, that's a
Yeah.
giant tree that's been cut off," and I'm like, "That's damn right, that's
Yeah.
a giant tree."
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I firmly believe that Atlantis is still somewhere out there too. Like, we just can't get to it.
I have this theory on Atlantis, is that people get caught up on the name, and that way they can just, like, write you off as being crazy, but
Yeah.
every single known that I know of civilization has a story about these people who came from the sea, and they were like gods because they had all this information, and they spread out all over the place, right? North America, South America, Europe, into, India. I don't know too much about China or Africa, but I'm sure it's there too, right? They're
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But people are like, Atlantis is silly. I'm like, I don't care what you call it. We'll call it, that place A over there, or that
Right.
that that weird place that disappeared and everybody came from. Because think about it, if we had something that happened now and all of tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of years from now, everything was gone except what was stone, they wouldn't know anything about us. Our computers would be gone, our phones would be
Right.
gone, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm that person.
No, I love that. And I also really love that we live near Atlanta because I feel like that is so I don't know. I feel like the energy's like the energy of Atlantis is big around this area, and I can't figure out why I think that, but other than it sounds similar. I don't know how to explain it.
Because I think it's because Atlanta doesn't make any sense.
It feels like its own little like planet sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Especially if you
like,
go out on the weekends.
I've traveled quite a bit. I grew up in the Midwest, and to me, Atlanta is the weirdest place on earth. Why why do why does everybody wanna be here? Why do they wanna be on those roads?
Yeah.
Especially, why do they
Yeah.
wanna drive like that?
Right.
And it's so like, everybody talks about, "Oh, the Bible Belt, you live down south," and I'm like, "Let me tell you about where I live."
It
It
is
is the
not.
most witchy, open, pagan place I think I've ever visited.
Yes. Yeah. I always get really surprised when people say they can't find other witchy people in Atlanta.
Well,
Like,
they're not
where are you
looking.
looking? Yeah, not at all. I can go through my specifically Facebook, but like I can go through my friend list and I'm like, there's a very large community of people here and it's ever growing for sure because there are people that think we don't exist down here. And then they find us and they're like, wait, what? But like, I think it comes up even in very non traditional ways too. Like people who just know, like, oh, you think about like the Appalachian area, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
have their own ways of doing things. They're not traditionally witchy, but they are very witchy. They're everything is witchy about it. It's it's
So
what
are
it
you
is.
from Atlanta? Are you from the Georgia
No.
area? Where are you from?
I am from California, Southern California. I moved here when I was 30, but I had a huge longing to be in this area much longer than I could ever imagine. Like, I just knew I belonged in the South,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
here.
kinda like, my family is from Kentucky, but I grew up in Illinois, right? And Illinois, everything is
Yeah,
farm. So the seasons are there, you
yeah,
grow with the land, and for the longest time, I tried to bring that with me to Georgia,
yeah,
and I was like, "I can't connect, I can't connect. I feel fine up in the mountains, but down here," and then
mhm,
somebody told me, You're trying to stick to Illinois, and you gotta blend in with Atlanta, you gotta
yeah,
blend in with this part of Georgia," and the second that clicked in my head, it's like, "Oh, I get it now." And then
yeah,
everybody came out of the woodwork. Like, everybody. I had just started meeting
yeah.
everybody and their brother.
Well, and let's talk about the group that you started too, because I think it's really important. I have been on a lot of like witchy women groups on Facebook, but we're specifically Georgia, and it seems to be a lot of North Georgia, and it's small but growing, and it's been, already such a monumental connections that I've made in there. I went to that cacao ceremony yesterday, which was amazing, by the way. Met you. There's just been so many people that I've already connected with that it's like I've needed to be pulled back into the community so much, and, like, that group has helped me to do that. So, yeah, like, so what made you want to create that group, and, like, why not join another one? Why that group?
Oh, well, I belong to all the groups. Let's not
Yeah,
if it's witchy, I belong to it. There was a post on the mom group, one of the mom groups
yeah,
that was up here, and because of that, I saw somebody mention the word woo, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch this post." And then all these ladies started posting in there, and I said, "Okay, let me start this group," right? And when started the group, it was just, let's see, I'll invite all these people. I wrote out this, like, the same wording for everything. It was very static, what I wrote, and I sent it to everybody on there.
yeah,
Come join this group. What I wanted to do was bring the witchy community and the wellness community together because in Central Illinois, where I spent 17 years prior to moving here, that's the way it was. It wasn't like
yeah,
here's the woo woo crowd and here's the witchy crowd. It was everybody was together.
yeah,
And there were so many of the witchy crowd, and I know that I've been to many events, and I had presented at many events where people would be like, "Oh, what the woo-woo crowd," and they always said it with, like, this disdain, and I was
yeah,
like, "Okay, first of all, you're not different. You're very, very close together,
yeah,
and second of all, they're the ones working with science." Like, I've heard out of a lot of witches, "Well, we believe in science." Okay, if you believe in science, they're actually working in the scientific
yeah,
realm here. Might not be, mainstream science, but it is metaphysics and whatever. It's all working together,
yeah,
trying to find a common core. So what I wanted to do is we're gonna create this place for the woo-woo people to be, and then start slowly adding in the witchy people, seeing the crossover, and I wanna get everybody interacting in Georgia the way they did in Illinois. Basically, that's
yeah.
my goal.
No, I love that. Because I do find myself very much in the middle of both those spectrums. Do I love the woo-woo stuff, like the metaphysical, the stuff that science is actually starting to back up now? Love that stuff. But I do also love the deeply personal, ritualistic feel of witchy type stuff. And I need both of them just as much in order to keep my spiritual life in alignment? So I love it. I think it's a great group, a great concept. I would love to see a lot more discussion in there.
I have a lot of, I have a lot of ideas, and I know that I've shared with you, I'm like, "We gotta do this thing." And we're
Yeah.
gonna do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Maybe not
trying to
this
figure
year,
out
maybe
how I
next
can
year.
help and not
And
yes,
not what?
and I think it would be amazing. I said
How
I'm
you
trying to
can
figure out how I can help and not overcommit
if you only knew how
because I overcommit
wishy-washy
a
I
lot.
am.
I'm like, "Oh, no, I'll 100%, like, dive in, but it'll consume my entire life for however long it takes." So, I'm trying to make sure I balance my work life and, however that work shows up, like, I also need to make sure I have time for my family, and I'm getting better. Like, I'm setting aside weekends for my grandkids or whatever, and it's just I'll overdo it on anything. That's just how I am. So,
Oh, no, I
I think it's
completely
an
get that.
amazing idea. Yeah.
But, I mean, right now, I've got, like, 6 different book projects partially written. You've got your new endeavor with your app coming out,
Yeah.
right? So we've got, things that need to be
We have time.
done first, and we have
Yeah.
time. So maybe not like I was ambitious. I was like, "Let's do it in the fall." It's my baby's senior year. I don't have time for this in the fall.
No, you're really not. I love that. We do need to get some, like, meetups together, though, without any kind of, like, agenda. Let's just put people in a room, and we'll all figure out what, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like the conversations would be amazing amongst all those women.
Oh, no, I perfectly agree. Like, the other day, I was out watering my plants, and I was like, "Maybe I could have them do a plant exchange. Maybe that would bring everybody together," and I'm like,
Ooh,
"Okay." So now I'm not just, "Come meet total strangers you don't know," but bring
right,
plants with you so we can talk, or let's do a book exchange another
right.
time we do it. So maybe if we do something like that, we can get people to show up.
Yeah, in between my living room and my kitchen, I have, like, half a wall, and I have all my herbs sitting up there, and I always think it'd be really cool to have a bunch of herbs and let people mix and match and put together whatever concoctions they want, so it can somewhat be educational, but not, like, boring educational. Everyone wants a little spell jar at the end of the day, we all take it home or whatever, but I just yeah, I always have a bunch of ideas, and I'm getting better at executing them. Last year was a big year for, like, getting my mental health kind of under control, and so now I don't feel so mm, I was really unreliable before, and I'm doing much better staying consistent and being engaged with the world around me, so it's nice.
Yeah, I think it's very important to have the space in your head clear
Mhm.
before you can go, "Now I'm gonna jumble it up and do 50,000,000 things because
Right.
I'm being extremely." Like, my sister is like, "I have ADHD." I'm like, "Oh, good for you. I wish I had mania." Next thing you know, I have a list, a mile long. I'm like, "Oh,
Right.
maybe that's that mania everybody
Yeah.
talks about."
No, I think some people are just really creative and really want to bring stuff into the world. And that's how I always feel is like I'm not an artist in the traditional sense. I do love to paint. I'm not going to ever sell my paintings. Like for me it's fun, something fun to do. But I love to create things. I love to birth projects. And I'm finally at a place in life where I'm not sidetracked by a bunch of kids or family stuff. My husband has his stuff, I have my stuff. And so it gives me time to actually focus and do this. And then to get my mental health kind of under control, I have the clarity now to see things through that I didn't before. So I can actually birth these projects, these ideas, and I'm so super proud of them now. Like, it feels good to accomplish it and
You
not
are
just have an
doing
idea.
amazing things right now. That
Thank
app
you.
of yours is absolutely amazing. Like, I
Thank you.
consulted to see what color I'm supposed to wear today. I'm not joking. A half hour before we were on, I was like, "I'm wearing blue. I know I wanna wear blue on camera. I know blue on camera looks good." And I opened up the app and I was like, "Wait a minute, what color did Jen say to wear today?" And it's not even what the app says. What did Jen say to wear today? Oh, sage green. What do I have that's close to sage green?
That's so funny. I love that. I mean, really, everyone's feedback during that beta testing helped so much because, yeah, I have ideas, but they still weren't fully formed. And so to get the good, bad, the hey, this isn't working, it was so helpful because I otherwise would not be where I'm at today with it. And so I can't wait. Like I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic. It's not going to blow up overnight, but I really want more people to use it. Like I really feel
It's
like
not
that
gonna.
was it would it would have helped me understand astrology so much sooner if I had something like that. And that's essentially how I built it. So I am like I have to stop my first reaction is to, like, make myself small. "Oh, it's nothing." But no, like, it's a big freaking deal.
It is huge, and it
Yeah,
is a wonderful teaching tool as well, and I don't even think you're looking at it at that aspect. But
I
if you
have.
were
I have considered
have
that.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, I'm really bad with the days of the week. I know my numbers, I know my colors, I know all this,
Right.
but look at the days of the week. Every day of the
Yeah.
week, it tells me what it's about, and I'm slowly learning those. Like, what? She needs to be teaching a class on this.
Well, see, and essentially that's what I because I love to teach. I really do. And I've tried to have a few classes over the years. The problem is more so it doesn't always work with people's schedules and then putting the, material together and then all in one day it comes out and then people just kind of like forget that they attended. It's not repetitive enough to where it sticks with them. And I thought, well, I would teach the whole world if I could. But this is the way I can do that. Like, this is how I can just share that information that I think I mean, really, it does come down to what I think is important because I created it. But, like, the stuff
Right.
that is meaningful to me, the stuff that I was researching on a regular basis and forgot about in between, or, the planetary hours. I love that concept, but it's not something that I would routinely look up. I would remember they exist and then never put them into practice. And so now I think also I'm lazy and to have everything in one spot really saves time. I don't have to search up a couple of different websites and find out all of this information. It's literally all right there. And I think yeah, maybe I'm just lazy and I'm just trying to make it easy on myself.
I wouldn't say you're lazy. I can send you a text at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing that you have to get up for work in the next morning. And I'm like, hey, this isn't working right at this moment. Like it's 12:30.
Right.
Who else but me is checking this in the first place? And you respond back, and I'm like, go to sleep.
I
Go to bed. What are you doing? I'm
It
working on
really
it.
No, like, it really has, become a second full-time job, getting this app up and going. I would work all day. At lunch, I'm, like, researching, writing down ideas, coming up with new like, I'd have a note app on my phone where I'm like, this, this," and then come home from work, take the dog out because I can't do anything before that happens, and then I would sit for another 2 hours there, go to the gym, hit an AA meeting, and come back and sit for another 3 or 4 hours. And, like, I'd lay down in bed, try to go to sleep, and I'd still have ideas coming to me, and so I put them in my phone for the next day, and it's the whole thing just starts over and over again. Today's the first day I haven't actively touched the code on that, and I don't know how long, like 2, 3 months, and I'm like, "Whew, okay, I'm not done," but it feels good to not be stressed, like, I feel like it is really so close to its final form, and I was at the gym and kinda started some little small talk with the girls next to me in Pilates, and afterwards, I was like, "Do you guys like astrology?" They're like, "Yeah." They're like these little, like, Gen Z teeny boppers, and I said, "I have a new app. Do you guys wanna try it?" And I felt so, like, dorky, but they signed up for the wait list and, someone else overheard it, and so I'm not m the place where I'm at right now and my intention for the cacao ceremony yesterday was to just show up and stop making myself small. No one's gonna promote the app like I am. There are people that
Right.
love it just as much as I do, but no one else has put as much work into it as I have, and so now it's my job to, like, share it with the world, and I can't be embarrassed about it. I can't be shy about it. Like, it's the podcast, I love the podcast, and I try to share as much as I can about it, but at the same time, it's really just a passion project for me, like, it's not gonna take over my life and retire me. The app, on the other hand, I think has huge potential for
Good. Yeah.
really becoming, like, a main gig, and so, I don't know, I'm trying to remind myself not to stay small. Like, it's so hard for me. I have a Leo North node. Like, it's hard for me to be in the spotlight or talk about myself in a positive way.
That makes me laugh so much. You don't even understand because how did I meet you, Jen? How did I meet you? I start this group, all these
Online by
people
being
start popping
me.
in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm over my head. I don't know what to do. You send me I can help moderate. And I was like, good, click.
Because yeah, I have the experience, and so it feels a little bit easier when now that I know I've done it. I don't know. Like it is funny that I feel like I can't get in the spotlight, but like all the stuff I do, I love being in the spotlight.
You are
I
the
mean,
spotlight woman.
it's hard. Even hearing that is so hard, but I'm getting more. And I think it does go back to like we were talking about at the very beginning of like as we get older, we just don't care anymore. And I'm kind of at that point where I'm just like, what's gonna happen if I actually step into the spotlight and live life like I'm supposed to? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I've been embarrassed. I've been heartbroken in my life. Like, I've gone through all of these things. Now, maybe it's just time to like do all that stuff, and maybe I'll still get heartbroken. Maybe I'll still be embarrassed, but I'm gonna survive it anyways. Like, and I like to say YOLO, but very sarcastically because that's not true. I have many lives.
We just had this conversation. YOLO, well, for now.
Yeah. I'll be back, but I'm gonna have to learn all over again that it really doesn't matter. Like it's all just, and then that gets me into the whole like it's all a simulation, anyways. Like none of this is real. It's all created in our brain as we're like moving through the different rooms. I'm sitting in my office, but I don't think the rest of the house exists right now because I can't see it. Once I get out there and my mind tells me it's there, sure, then it's there. Same thing with all the people existing outside of the world. I don't know if they're real right now.
What is that? Non-player characters, NPCs?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I go through my day now ever since I've heard that term, and it hasn't been that long, to be honest, and I'm just like, "Alright, that they're just taking up space, and they're taking up s," and it's
Yeah.
I wanna say it's really bad because I try to connect with everybody and acknowledge the spiritual existence of everybody, but, there's just some people out there that you're like, "Is anybody home? What's going on?" Do you exist just to pull out in front of me and go slow? Is that what you exist for? Some of these people?
Well, yeah, because at that moment, their sole job is to see how patient you can be. How spiritually
Not very,
aligned are
not
you
very.
while you drive? No, me either.
Oh,
I
oh,
always can
that's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's especially in Atlanta. But yeah, that's where the most real, vulnerable, raw version of me comes out is when I'm driving in Atlanta traffic.
Oh, yeah, anytime you think I am spiritually superior, you just have that white Tesla. It's always a white Tesla, it's just boom, right in front of you. Okay,
Oh,
I'm not evolved.
I'm not. I'm not. Oh, we have had so much fun. I didn't even pull as many cards as I normally do, but I think this is one of the most fun and like enjoyable episodes I've done so far. And I can't wait till we can meet in person. Like we're not even that far apart from each other. It's just life is crazy, busy. You have so many people in your house that you take care of. I
Oh,
don't know
they
how you
all
do
came
it.
home. There's 11 of them in this house.
That's insane. I say that's
It's not
insane, but I
bad.
think I would love it too. Yeah, it's a
It's
lot,
kinda
but
fun. I mean, I have my 3 grandkids here, 1 is a baby, and we were talking about, how you react when you first get here, and we have been joking
yeah.
since she got here that she's always wanting to put her fists together and fight you, and it's like, ah, she remembers her last life, and she just wants to tell us we're doing it wrong.
That's so funny. I love, yeah, with the grandkids, like I love being able to watch them, like just observe and see what characteristics have they brought from their previous life. Like there's my oldest granddaughter is very spunky and will talk to you like she's 15 years old, and she's almost 3. But there's so many mannerisms that she has that I'm like, "Where did you learn that?" Or is it just carryover? Like, what are you doing?
And we're quite certain that my grandson, he's the oldest, he's 5, we were certain the day he was born that his last life was rough. He, like, went through the war. he was born angry. He's got a little temper on him, and it's like he's still working through it. He's only 5. It's still fresh in his brain.
Yeah.
He's gotta get through this, but he can sometimes you're just like, "Ooh, that's that war flashback." We don't know what war, okay? And I don't believe timelines are linear, so this war may
No.
not happen yet. So who
Yeah.
knows?
Oh, I love that. I don't know why I've never thought of that, but that's so true. We think past life is like a time that has already existed, but really it could be a future life that's already happened that we don't know about and we came back to this one.
And this'll bend your brain a little bit. They're all going on at the same time.
Yeah, no, I do have that. Like, I have been able to integrate that thought into my mind, but like chronologically, I just never expected that a life ahead of this one could be a past life. Huh. I love that. That's, I'm going to dwell on that for the rest of the day. Thanks.
I plant seeds.
You're a gardener. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I don't want to keep you too long because you do have a busy household and I'm sure they're probably knocking on your door. But thank you so much for doing this. We'd talked about it for a while and I'm so glad we finally got to. This is gonna be amazing.
I've had a blast. This has been really fun, and yeah, we gotta get
Good.
together really soon.
I know. I know. Well, all right. Well, thank you again.
So thanks for
All
having
right.
me.